Welcome to Animal Behavior. This week, we are going to study sexual selection, which is going to be one of the most interesting and most studied topics in animal behavior. Charles Darwin devised the theories of sexual selection to specifically account for the evolution of costly and survival decreasing traits such as the extravagant characteristics of the male bowerbirds or peacocks. He suggested two components of sexual selection. The first one is intra-sexual selection. Here, when the members of the one sex compete with one another for access to the other sex. And usually, in many species, the male is the sex that compete with each other for access to females. So this process is also called male-male competition. In another component of sexual selection, which is called inter-sexual selection, here the members of the one sex, usually females, they choose among members of the other sex, the males. So this component is also called the female choice, whereas this process, intrasexual selection, is known as male-male competition. Processes of intrasexual selection, again, this is the male-male competition. I list 5 different processes of intrasexual selection: fighting, infanticide, alternative mating tactics, sperm competition, and mate guarding. Let's look at each of them. Fighting. Here in fighting, the males, they directly fight with each other over the possession of females. So fighting, you just fight with each other. So here, if you are big and strong, the chances are you will likely win the fights and then take all the females receptive for mating. So here, this is two seals, two males of the elephant seals fighting with each other. And you guess that the bigger and stronger is the one that win the fight. So in this case, there is a selection pressure for males to become big and strong. So the males of this species usually weigh, it is about 4 meters long and about 2.3 tons, compared to the females, which is about 3 meters long and only 640 kilograms. So there's a big size difference between males and females if this form of sexual selection dominates the species. And in this case, usually a few males dominates the mating with the females, and most of the males do not reproduce. I talk about the big size difference between the males and female elephant seals, and that is called sexual dimorphism. In that case, that was called sexual size dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is a difference in secondary sex characteristics between males and females in a species. So we just talk about the secondary sex characteristics. Then there must be primary sexual characteristics. The primary sexual characteristics are usually the sex differences directly related to reproduction and serving no direct purpose in courtship. So for example, like genitalia, ovaries, and testes are the primary sexual characteristics. Compared to the primary sexual characteristics, there is a secondary sexual characteristics. That's the traits amenable to sexual selection, which gives an organism an advantage over its rivals without being directly involved in reproduction. So these characteristics, secondary sexual characteristics, do not serve as reproduction, but it is necessary to win over in the arenas of sexual selection. One of the best examples of sexual dimorphism in humans, that's androgenic hair growth. You can easily notice in humans. Okay, let's think about this fighting. You know, the bulls, the elephant seals fighting each other. Usually, one male will get injured or even be killed. So let's think about if you're a male, you are about to fight with a huge male, and just realize that you have no chance of winning over this male. You may get injured or be killed. Then what do you want to do? You don't want to fight with this male. Probably you want to run away and maybe wait for the next chance. Then let's assume that you are a big, strong male. Then you probably win this fight over this smaller male. Then what do you want to do? You want to still fight, or if there is some other way to settle this contest, even if you are big and strong, you probably were looking for a better way over this direct fighting, even if you are big and strong, because in the process you may get also injured. So if you look at a lot of species, they settle the contest without actual fighting. That's what we usually see in the threat displays in dogs and cats. The dogs they meet each other and they growling. That's a threat displays. But it's very rare even they actually fight with each other. Also, the acoustic duelings in frogs and crickets in the fall. If you go at the campus, you hear a lot of crickets singing. That's the acoustic dueling. And all this is called ritualized contest. It's the fighting without actual physical combats. Infanticide is another process of intra-sexual selection. It is well known in lions. And the lions, they are social, meaning that a group of lions live together, and the lion group is known as a pride. And pride of lions include related lioness, like they are sisters and mothers and daughters and aunts. They are cubs and a small number of males. Once a pride is taken over by incoming males, they usually kill the unweaned infants sired by their predecessors. This picture shown the infanticide by this male. And infanticide generally speeds up the returning to fertility in female lions. If these the infants lions are around, females do not go to fertile for maybe 6 or 7 months. But their reigning period by the incoming males, it usually lasts around maybe 2 years or 3 years. So they want to make most out of it during that period. So that what they want to do is that they want to speed up the returning to the fertility in female lions by killing their cubs. So infanticide may give immediate reproductive success to incoming males. That's also another form of intra-sexual selection. Alternative mating tactics. At the beginning, I talked about that only a few males, if the males compete with each other, and the winningest male will mate with the females, then usually the most inferior males never have a chance of mating for their entire lives. Then what do they do? And there is the tactic known as the alternative mating tactics that is referred to the consistent variation in the mating behavior of males or females within one species. In the Bourgeois, and there's two general tactics are known. One is the Bourgeois tactic, and all the others are known as the parasitic tactic. And Bourgeois tactic is basically like the male seal, the seals, you go out, you fight, you defend, and you get a right right of mating with females. But parasitic males, they attempt to exploit the bourgeois males. So let's look at the examples of these. Get away. The examples of the bluegill fish. These bluegill fishes are introduced to our country by the fishermen, and they make a havoc on all the inland waters in Korea. And the males of these bluegill fish exhibit three different mating tactics. The one is the parental, which is a bourgeois tactic. That's the most of the dominant males usually do. What they do is that they are territorial. They compete with each other over the territories. So they establish a territory. They construct nest within the substrate, and then they attract females. And the females come by. The females lay eggs. And then they gyre the offspring, and then they give parental care to the offspring. That's why they are called a parental. They are the dominant. They are the dominant males in the bluegill fish. If you are not dominant, if you are small, then what do? You have no chance of winning the fight with the parentals. So you play some alternative tactics, which may be sneakers and satellites. Sneakers, they are very little guys, they are smaller guys. So when the parental and the female, they are mating with each other, the sneakers sneak between these two, then they lay eggs. Usually, if the sneaker males are around, the parental will attack the sneakers. The sneakers is chased away. But while the parental and females are busy, they come in, they sneak, and they spray the sperm. So the chances of their sperm fertilized may be low, but it's much better than nothing. And the satellite, that's also a different tactic. The satellite is bigger than the sneakers. So once sneakers grown up, they may become satellites, and the satellites, they look like female. Even if they are male, they look alike. They look like females. So when satellites are around, the parentals are confused. They're thinking that the satellites are also females. So when the parental and parental and female are mating with each other, the satellites come in, and then they spray the sperm. That way, you increase the mating success. The satellites are not attacked by the parentals because they are like female. They look like females. Let's go to the another processes of intra-sexual selection, which is called sperm competition. It's well known in Odonata, the order Odonata in insects. That's the damselflies and the dragonflies. Once you mated with a female, you think you're done. Well, that's not in this case, because another male mated with a female that you just mated. He has a capability of scrubbing out the sperms that you just deposited in the female reproductive tract. So that's the male genitalia of the dragonflies. Look like this one. They used this device to scrub out the sperms just deposited, and then they deposit their sperms in the female reproductive tract. So they have the competition of the mating with a female doesn't end with just mating. It can still occur in the inside of female reproductive tract. And mate guarding. Now that's the continuation of the previous the previous one, the sperm competition. It's also well known in the dragonflies and damselflies. In the fall, you have seen the male and female, they fly together in tandem, and you may wonder what they do. You just realize that now once you leave the female dragonflies and you leave this female, then there's a chance that the another male will mate with this female and then scrub out all the sperms that you deposited. How do you prevent this from occurring? One idea is that you just stick with the female, you just fly with her until when? Until she lay eggs. Until she lay eggs, and you are there with her, guarding her all the time. Then the sperms, you just make sure that the eggs are fertilized with the sperms, with your sperms. So that's called, it's a mate guarding. It's your actions taken by your males to prevent a sexual partner from acquiring sperm from other males. And this is the blue band goby. You know, one of them is male, the other one is female, and they look alike. And once they doing the mate guarding, they go together just anywhere they go. So it's almost like a mirror. Leg. That's the last category of the intra-sexual selection. So leg is like a display site. It's a really tiny display site. About, depending on the species, but in one species, maybe this is about 10 meter long. So it's basically a display site. Within each, there are several males, and they defend a small territory around them. So for example, like this one, maybe defend his territory around here. Maybe this one around this area, around this area. So here is there are several males defending his little territories. And then females, they visit this leg, and they survey all the males, most of the males in the leg, and choose one of them and mate with him, and leaves the leg right away and never return to this side again. So female just comes in the leg for mating, and then they leave, and then they care for the young by themselves. So leg is the unusual mating behavior, and there's intense competition within this side among the males, and there's a strict dominance hierarchy within the legs. Okay, let's go to the intersexual selection. We have just looked at the 5 processes of intersexual selection. Now we come to the processes of intersexual selection. You remember that the intersexual selection, that is usually the females choose among males. And there are 4 different processes are known. The first one is the direct benefit, and the runaway selection, good genes, and the sensory bias. Let's look at each of them here. Okay, first, direct benefit. The question here in intersexual selection is that what benefit do females receive by expressing her preferences? That's the question. In the first one, the direct benefit, females receive direct benefit, well, like a material benefit, by exercising their preferences. So here is the hanging flies, 2 hanging flies here. This is the male, and this one, the left one, that's the female. And the male just caught a moth and then give it to the female and she's very hungry. So this is the this is the meal that she likes to eat. So she's eating now, and while she's eating, and he's mating with her. So this one, this moth is called nuptial gift, and this when you give this nuptial gift to her, the size is very critical, because if you give some prey that the female consumes less than 5 minutes, then there's no sperm transfer. So here's the size of the nuptial prey, and the y-axis, that's the duration of the copulation. So that the sperm transfer occurs around like 5 minutes after the female is eating the prey. So if you give just a small prey to the females, and females eat it less than 5 minutes, then there will be no sperm transferred into females. So it must be big. It must be big, so that the females can eat more than 5 minutes. So it's more than 5 minutes. More than 5 minutes. There's a transfer of sperms, and it's stabilized to stabilized. So here, the bigger you bring up the prey, the longer you can transfer the sperms to females. And also, the females' point of view, they prefer the bigger prey. You prefer the males that with bigger prey, because you can receive the enough sperms. Also, at the same time, if the females receive the bigger prey, they can utilize this prey for the egg development. So it's good for the females' viewpoint to receive the bigger prey. So females usually prefer the males who bring the bigger prey. That's the direct benefit. The ultimate form of the direct benefit, it may be a sexual cannibalism, which may occur in manatees and the spiders. In this case, the male itself becomes a prey, so that the females may eat this male partner while mating, and the males may die while mating. So how can this be adaptive? If when you die, you may think this way. Even if you are dead, you becomes the meal of this female, and you yourself becomes the nutritions of the eggs, which will become the offspring of yours. So this is also adaptive for males. The ultimate, let's go to the next one. And we just look at the direct benefits of inter-sexual selection, and by exercising preference, what do females get, what females receive, that's the material benefits. Females receive something tangible. They receive like a food, or like territories. The bigger, the more, the better. But all the others, the next three, the females receive nothing. They receive nothing but sperm during the mating process. So while mating, the females receive nothing but sperms, but in many cases, females they exhibit preferences. They choose one male over another, even though both males provide nothing but sperms to females. Then you may ask, why? Why do females express their preferences? To explain this question, basically these two processes are originally suggested. One is the runaway selection, and the other one is good genes, mothers of sexual selection. Let's look at the runaway selection. This is the that's the male widow bird. You know, this is not a big bird. I don't know. It's about the size of the maybe a pigeon. It's a smaller bird, but it has a tail long, about 50 centimeters. And you may think that these tails is probably it's not efficient of the flying around. It's aerodynamically not efficient with such a long tail. And these males, the males of these widow birds, they establish territories during the mating season, and then they attract the females within their territory. If they are good, they may attract maybe one, sometimes maybe two. But if you are not good at, then you may attract none of the females. And males provide no parental care at all. They just provide the sperms to females. Molt Anderson, and he did experiments to test the models of the sexual selection. So what he did was that he captured male widow birds, then he shortened the tails. He shortened the tails of some of the males by cutting them, and then he lengthened the tails of others by gluing on additional feathers. And then he released the males, and then and observed the reproductive success of these males with the different lengths of the feathers. You can simply just count number of the nests established within each male. That's directly correlated with the mating success of the male widow birds. That's called a cut and paste experiment, and he first tested this idea that this tail length is directly related to the male-male competition. What does it mean is that if you have a longer tails, then you are better at fighting with the other males, or you can establish some bigger territories. Some you are higher up at the dominance hierarchy like this. So and then so he observed that the length of the tail and the male-male competition, and what he observed is that the males have no problem at all in establishing their territories, even if your tails are short or long or on average, it doesn't really matter. So that this is what he concluded: the tail length has no advantage in the male-male competition. So he tested the next idea, which is whether longer tail provides some advantage in female choice. So what he did was that he counted number of the nests within a territory over all the males, and then this is what he found here. That's the control. Okay, this is the control, so that the tail length is intact, and the intact males on average attracted one female. That's okay, one female within his territory, but that's the male with the shortened tails, and it attracted on average less than 0.5 females within his territory. But if you look at this this male, that's the artificially lengthened. It has the artificially lengthened tails, and the males with the artificially lengthened tails attracted on average about less than two females within their territories. So you can simply tell from this graph that the males with long tails have advantage in female choice sexual selection. So then you may ask, why do female widow birds prefer the males with long tails. Again, from female's point of view, it probably doesn't really matter with the male with a short tail or long tail, just for the purpose of fertilization, because any male give enough sperm to fertilize all the eggs of a female. And also, males do not provide any parental care or gives any prey at all to females. Then why do you still have to make a choice among the males? And one idea is that choose females produce sons whose tails are also long like their fathers. So you just made it with a male that has a long tail. Then let's assume that this trait, the trait for the long tails, is inherited to the next generation. The genes for the tail length is passed down to the next generation. Then your sons also likely to have long tails, and her sons would be successful in sexual selection by attracting more females. So, from the two females, by exercising their preference, you choose one male over another based on their tail length. Then the fittest benefit to females to females is not clear, because any female just mated with the males with any tail lengths can produce offspring, but the difference occurs in the grandson's generation, because your sons are a lot more attractive to females, so they are successful at the arenas of sexual selection. So if you make a mate choice, if you exercise the mate preference so that you choose the males with the long tails, the fittest benefit will occur at the grandson's generation. You will have a lot more grandsons and granddaughters compared to the females that randomly mate. And this process is called runaway sexual selection, and it's also called sexy son hypothesis, because you produce sexy sons. So it's also called the sexy son hypothesis. We just talked about the runaway models of sexual selection. By exercising preference, the females receive, let's say, attractive genes. They receive the males. They mate with the males who are attractive. So you produce sexy sons, and that's this model is called runaway models of sexual selection. And compared to the runaway models of sexual selection, in good genes models of sexual selection, the females receive good genes from the male by exercising your preference, so that your offspring are viable, are generally healthy and strong, or are free from the disease. So let's go to the examples of the good gene models of sexual selection. Probably the best known examples of this model will be the peacocks, the peacock's tail. That's the male peacock displaying. It flares out its feathers, so that from here you can directly you can see all these circles on their tails, and each ring, which ring is called eyes or ocelli. And if you're male and you have you have to have at least more than 130 eyes, 130 ocelli. If not, you have the ocelli or eyes less than 130, then probably you will attract none of the females. So this is the number of the ocelli, 140, 150, 160, and there's a direct correlation with the number of mates that you attracted. So if you're a big peacock with lots of the eyes on your feather, then you will be successful in sexual selection. So Marion Petrie studied the captive but free-ranging population of the peacocks in a large forest English park, and she found that males killed by foxes had significantly shorter tails than their surviving companions, and most of the males taken by predators have not made it in previous mating season. Just think about it for a while that the male peacocks, the male peacocks has the extravagant male characteristics, which are very colorful, which is probably very costly to maintain. We probably attract lots of predators. So at first, you may think that the males with this like a big, beautiful the coloration, the feathers with such a big, beautiful coloration may attract a lot of predators, are more likely to die. But that was not true. The opposite was exactly true from the findings by Marion Petrie. The ones that killed by foxes like predators, they had the significantly shorter tails. So so she goes on to study the quantitative genetic experiments in which males with different degrees of ornamentation, different degrees of like a tail length, just has mated with the randomly chosen females, and each pair, they are like a half ships, and each pair gives the offspring, and then rear all the offsprings under identical conditions. And this is the result they've got, and that's the number of the ocelli: 130, 135, 140, 145, 150, and there the y-axis there is the percentage of chicks surviving after 2 years. This is kind of like a measure of the fitness. It's a proxy measure for the fitness. Again, the fitness is the number of offspring for your entire lifetime. It's very difficult to measure the offspring for your entire lifetime. So instead of measuring this fitness, you measure the kind of proxy, the percentage of chicks surviving after 2 years, and there seems to be a direct correlation. It's meaning that if your father has the attractive, if you have more number of the eyes on your feather, then your offspring, your sons and daughters are more likely to survive after 2 years. It gives that by mating with the males with the with the beautiful feathers, then you may receive some good genes that is transferred to your offspring and expressed so that your sons and daughters are viable, are healthy. So that's the benefit that females receive. So peacock's ornamentation, the like long feathers and the big eyes, it signals a good health, and then Petrie and Muller, they identify the link between the condition of a peacock's tail and the strength of his immune system, and the length of the tails of the peacock was related to the B cell production and the immune system, and the size of the eyes, the eye spots, was related to T cell production. So basically, if you have the elaborate ornamental tails, if you're a peacock, if you're a male peacock, and we have an elaborate ornamented tail, and it signals to the females, I'm fit, I'm good, I'm good, I'm generally in good health, so that the by mating with the males with the elaborate ornamental tails, the females receive good genes that is transferred to to their offspring. Okay. Let's just review what we have learned so far. First one, we have studied the direct benefits. By exercising the preference, the females receive direct benefit, the material benefits, which may be food or territory. That's the direct benefit. And we just look at these two runaway selection or good genes models of sexual selection. Actually, this is not true. Okay, these two, the females receive genetic benefits. Again, the males provide nothing but genes or DNAs or sperm to females, and by mating with some preferred males, females receive some attractive genes in the runaway selection of the sexual selection, and the females receive good genes in the good gene models of sexual selection. And let's look at the last process of the intra-sexual selection, which is sensory bias. And here, the females receive no direct benefits and no the genetic benefits. The preference is built in phylogeny. This is the platyfish, and this is a sword-tailed fish. The difference is that in their tail they have the sword. This is called like a sword, like a sword, sword here, and this is a sword-tailed fish. That both are the males, and it has no sword in the tail. Here's the females of the sword-tailed fish, and you're given a choice between the males with the platyfish like the tail, or the males with the sword-tailed fish. Then the females of the sword-tailed fish always choose the males with this sword tail, and there's no no strange here. But if you give the same choice, males with the no sword tail or males with the sword tail, strangely, the females of the platyfish they prefer the males with the sword over the males without the sword. In fact, they prefer the males of the sword-tailed fish than the males of their own species, which is the platyfish. So that's this one. That's one that has no tails, and this one has tails. Then the females of the platyfish, they prefer the males with a sword than the males without the sword. So and furthermore, the longer the sword, the greater the female's desire to stay close to the male. And then how do you explain this one? How do the females of the platyfish prefer the males with the another species, which is the sword-tailed fish? And this, then explanation should based on the phylogeny. And in fact, these two species, the platyfish and the sword-tailed fish, they are closely related. And here's the phylogeny. Basically, this y the x-axis, it's the time. That's the past, and this is present, and this is what we see these days. And these four species here, that's the four species. They are the sword-tailed fish. By looking, so each one has this sword at the end of their tails, and these two has platyfish. The platyfishes has no sword in their tails. So the female preference evolved early on. I don't know exactly where, but early on in the phylogeny. So female preference is evolved somewhere a long time ago even before these species evolved. So it's already there in the phylogeny. The question is that how do you take advantage of this, the female, the preference, which is that's what you call like a sensory bias. And here in this group, the males has some, let's say some mutation. So some of the males, they evolved this swordtail, and which is highly attractive to the females because females already have the sensory bias for the swordtail. So the males with the swordtails are attractive, and and they become probably dominant over the older males. So so now you have the male sword and female preference for the male sword at the same time. But this species here, you haven't have the male swordtail evolved yet. So female preference is already there. That's because of the preference is evolved early on the phylogeny, but male the male trait, which is the swordtail, has not evolved yet. So sensory bias, the females receive no material benefits, no genetic benefits. The preference is already there in the phylogeny, and so this is called like a sensory bias. So this week we have looked at the two components of the sexual selection. One is the intra-sexual selection, and the other one is the intra-sexual selection. Intersexual selection, males compete with each other for the access to the other sex, and the intersexual selection, usually the females they choose among the males of the I'm sorry, the females usually choose among males. And we have, I have listed different processes of sexual selection in each component. And next week, we're going to study the mating systems, which is the continuation of this, the sexual selection. Well, thank you, and see you next week.